No one saw it coming. Not the fans, not the press, not even those who followed every step of their story. Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun's surprise wedding has left the world in shock, and the details are even more beautiful than anyone could have imagined. It started like any ordinary week. Kim Go-eun was quietly promoting her latest project, sharing small glimpses of her days online. Lee Min-ho, on the other hand, was spotted at a few industry events, smiling politely but keeping his answers short. Nothing about their schedules hinted at something this big. And yet, somewhere in the middle of that quiet, something life-changing was being planned in secret. Friends close to the couple now say the decision wasn't impulsive. It had been months in the making. They wanted something private, something just for them. No massive guest list. No magazine deals. Just love. Real, simple love. One close friend revealed that they didn't even call it a wedding in their messages. They used a code name, just one word, to keep it between themselves. That word was promise. So when the day came, everyone who received an invitation simply thought they were attending a small celebration. No one outside their closest circle knew what it was really for. The location was a private villa by the sea, far from the city's noise and cameras. Only 30 people were invited. Family, a few lifelong friends, and the people who had seen their relationship grow from the very beginning. The moment guests arrived, they were asked to leave their phones in a secure box at the entrance. It wasn't about secrecy for publicity's sake, it was about making sure every single person was truly present in the moment. Lee Min-ho was the first to arrive that afternoon. He wore a simple black suit, no tie, his hair slightly tousled by the wind. Friends said he looked nervous but in the happiest way possible, like someone who knows he's exactly where he's meant to be. Kim Go-eun arrived just before sunset. She didn't wear a grand designer gown, just a soft, ivory dress with delicate lace along the sleeves. Her hair was pinned up loosely, a few strands framing her face. And in her hands, she carried a small bouquet of white flowers tied with a pale ribbon. When she walked in, everyone stood still. Even those who had seen her 1,000 times before felt something different in that moment. One guest later described it as watching the world slow down. Lee Min-ho turned to face her, and for a second, it was as if no one else existed. There were no cameras clicking, no scripted lines. Just two people looking at each other like they'd finally reached home. The ceremony was held outdoors, overlooking the ocean. The air was warm, the waves gentle. The officiant kept it short, speaking only about love, respect, and partnership. And when it was time for their vows, they didn't read from paper. They spoke from memory, from the heart. Lee Min-ho began first, his voice steady but full of emotion. He thanked her for seeing him as more than the person on posters, for loving him in the quiet moments, and for believing in them even when the world made it hard. Kim Go-eun smiled, and when it was her turn, she said he had been her safe place, her laughter in the hardest days, and her reminder that love is worth the wait. Then came the moment no one was prepared for, the kiss. It wasn't dramatic or long. It was soft, warm, and full of meaning. A promise sealed not for the cameras, but for themselves. The guests clapped, a few cried, and in that instant, it became clear why they had kept it private. Some things are more beautiful when they belong only to the people living them. After the ceremony, the atmosphere shifted into something light and joyful. Long wooden tables were set up under strings of lights. There was no formal seating. People moved around, talking, laughing, sharing stories. The food was a mix of traditional Korean dishes and fresh seafood from the nearby coast. At one point, Lee Min-ho stood up with a guitar in hand. He's not known for performing in public outside of acting, but that night, he sang for her. It was a simple song, one they had once listened to together on a rainy evening. No microphones, no stage, just his voice, the sound of the waves, and her smiling as if nothing else in the world mattered. Kim Go-eun also surprised everyone. She read a letter she had written months ago but kept hidden until that night. It wasn't long, just a page, but in it, she spoke about how meeting him had felt like finding the missing chapter of her story. She said that even in their quietest days, she felt like the luckiest person alive. And when she finished, Lee Min-ho reached over and kissed her forehead. It was the kind of gesture that made everyone in the room believe in love again. As the night went on, people danced barefoot in the sand. Some wore suits, some were in dresses, but none of it mattered. What mattered was the feeling, a rare kind of joy that fills a place and lingers long after the music stops. And while no official photographer was hired, a few disposable cameras were passed around. The photos, still unseen by the public, are said to be filled with candid moments, laughing faces, unplanned embraces, and small glances that said more than words ever could. When the night ended, the couple didn't make a grand exit. There was no fancy car or helicopter. They simply walked together down the beach, hand in hand, talking quietly as the waves touched their feet. A few friends watched them from a distance, knowing they were witnessing something rare, two people completely sure of each other. The news didn't break until days later. A guest, after getting permission, confirmed that the promise event had been a wedding. Within hours, the internet exploded. Hashtags trended in multiple countries. Fans shared old videos of their on-screen moments, saying they had always known the connection was real. Others were simply stunned, struggling to process how such a major event had happened with no leaks, no rumors, no hints. Industry insiders praised them for keeping it private, noting how rare it is for celebrities of their level to pull off something so personal without the world finding out. Many said it spoke volumes about the strength of their relationship, that they could choose what mattered most and protect it from outside noise. In the days that followed, both Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun stayed offline. No statements, no official wedding photos, no interviews. And maybe that's the point. Maybe they wanted to remind everyone that love isn't about proving it to strangers, it's about living it fully with the person you choose. When they finally did appear in public weeks later, it was at a small cafe in Seoul. No bodyguards, no big entourage. They sat by the window, sharing a pot of tea, smiling like people who know the secret to happiness. Fans who saw them didn't rush over. They simply watched from a respectful distance, understanding that they were seeing something rare and genuine. Now, months after the wedding, those close to them say marriage has only made them stronger. They've learned to balance their public careers with the quiet life they value. They still go on walks, still cook together, still tease each other about little things. And every so often, someone spots them holding hands in the most ordinary places, proof that romance isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about being there, every day, in all the small ways that matter. Looking back, the surprise wedding might have been a shock.